I just got back home after spending the past couple years living abroad. I thought I'd make a little video about what it's like returning home after traveling long term. So far I've been back for about 3 months, so I'm really just settling in. Yeah, it's been a little bit strange to say the least. I decided to come back and regroup for a little bit. I was starting to feel kind of burnt out. One of the first things I noticed was how much things can change in just a couple years. People get married, have kids, they move, they die. Stuff doesn't stay the same while you're away. I found that I've drifted apart from some of my family members and friends, lost a few relationships. Also, people really don't care about your trip. They may ask you about it to be polite, but they really don't want to hear about it. These days, I only talk about travel if someone asks me about it first. Another interesting thing is that I could notice aging in the faces of my friends and family. When I first saw my mom, I noticed quite a few more gray hairs than I remembered. That was pretty striking, actually. I'm sure she thought the same about me because my beard has quite a few more gray hairs than it had 2 years ago. So that really made me think about my age and my own mortality. Time also seems to pass faster now that I'm home. Like a month can slip by without even noticing. When I was on the road, I was always doing interesting things and having new experiences, so time seemed to pass a lot slower. I feel like I could fall asleep in my 30s and wake up in my 50s if I fell into a routine. Time would just fly by. Another thing I noticed is that the digital nomad lifestyle isn't that cheap when you factor in the cost of airfare, visas, other transport. Like, I think I spent around $3,000 in airfare alone last year. I did save quite a bit on accommodation. I was spending like $500 to $700 a month on Airbnbs, and rent here is twice that. So it is more expensive living in the US, but the savings isn't that great, all things considered. Especially since I'm living in a second or maybe third tier city that's already fairly low cost of living. It also took quite a bit of work to reestablish myself once I arrived. I had to find a place to stay, buy some furnishings, restock my kitchen, that kind of stuff. So it was pretty stressful and really expensive. Luckily I had enough money saved up to cover it, but yeah, it was considerable. I have to admit that it was a bit depressing coming home. The first few days were really nice, seeing friends and family who I hadn't seen for a long time, but after that, it just felt normal. It felt as if I'd never left. I've noticed that this city has declined quite a bit since my childhood. It just feels a little poorer and rougher, maybe a little grittier. It's strange because cities in South America and Southeast Asia just feel a little happier even when they're in poorer countries. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just maybe it just feels that way. Can you guess which city this is? I'll give you a hint. It's in the western US. Post your guesses in the comments. Probably the best thing about being home is not having to worry about packing and unpacking, or where I'm going to sleep, or when my visa is going to expire. It takes a lot of time and effort to organize transportation and accommodation and just plan everything out. So not having to worry about that just removes a lot of stress. Now that I'm home, I get to sleep in the same bed every night. I've always got a full refrigerator. I don't need to use a map to get around. There's no language barrier. It's just so comfortable and convenient. For me, the nomadic lifestyle isn't sustainable long term. The first year was exciting. After that, it just became exhausting. When I first set off, I was always looking forward to going someplace new, but after a while, I just started to dread the travel days. It's just such a hassle uprooting my life and restarting in a new place every month or two. I plan to just pick a place and stay there for 6 months or a year. I need to establish a home base somewhere. I need a place just to leave my stuff. It would make the lifestyle much more sustainable. Anyway, these are my initial thoughts after returning home after being away for a couple of years. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I got more videos in the works. I'm hitting the road again next month. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.